As someone who creates content in the digital space, my favorite thing is getting questions in the comments. It makes it feel like it's a two-way street, like we're having a real conversation and like we're actually making some progress when it comes to destigmatizing hair loss wigs and hair toppers. One of the questions that I recently had was about whether it's okay to cut bangs into a topper that is lace top like Breeze from Uniwigs. And so I'm going to answer that right now, looking at all Uniwigs pieces to show you the different cap constructions available to you and which ones might actually be ideal if you were to cut bangs into them. So if you're a girl who's looking to get bangs, stay tuned. For the record, bangs are actually the best way to conceal a hair topper and to not have to worry about blending at all. And if you've been with me for a while, you know when it comes to hair toppers, I do not like blending them. I have a very weak front hairline, so I always wear my toppers right to the front. Bangs are the perfect hack for that. Now, the truth is the pieces that I'm going to show you, none of them actually have bangs in them. I haven't done that yet, and I don't know if I will because I try to keep my pieces looking as much true to how they show up out of the box as possible so that I can help you make purchasing decisions, but maybe I'll ask Uniwigs to send me an additional piece that I can cut bangs into for effect. But anyways, right now I'm wearing Courtney. This is the best seller by Uniwigs. It is actually, let me grab a different Courtney. So Courtney is majorly popular for good reason. She's got a 7x8, I believe the size is cap, and she has a good overall density without being too heavy. She does come with a slight cut, so you will see that there are some slight curtain bangs cut into her already, but on the whole, she's long layers. She has a monofilament parting area that is a couple of inches wide. I'd say about 2.5, maybe 3 inches wide, probably about 3 inches. And that's going to allow for a realistic looking part, as you can see. So this one is straight out of the box. This is one that I've messed up. And you can tell how quickly you can make it realistic looking by just messing up the part and adding a little bit of powder. So Courtney is ideal in some ways if you want to add bangs, but she's not going to be your best choice. She does have some density in the front for like a light bang. You can imagine if I were to cut this here, you know, I could get a wispy bang pretty easily without really taking away from the overall density. But I don't know if I would buy her for a thick or heavy bang. You're going to want to go for a silk top instead. Let's talk about the wig that was in question though. And that was, or not the wig, but the topper that was in question. And that one was not this one. It was the Breeze, which is the Swiss Lace Luxe collection of topper. So I'm going to show it to you here. This is with the halo wire. Now, pretty much all of the Uniwigs lineup now comes with the halo wire. My pieces are older, so majority of them will not have one. But if you order a topper today from Uniwigs, you're going to end up with this halo wire, which is such a great way to ensure for extra security. Or for some of you, depending on whether you have a flat occipital bone or not, it may actually be the only security that you need when it comes to wearing your hair topper. And it takes the place of a topper grip, which is so, so nice. So this lace top is going to provide an overall light feeling on the head, lots of breathability. It's going to be excellent for summertime for that reason, or for someone who wants a natural looking density. Let me put it on so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I haven't even clipped in the clips. I only have the halo wire holding this in place. It is a lace front. I would need to cut the lace a little bit further back. And because of the shape of my head, it's a little bit small. I would need a little bit of glue just in the middle. But if you decide to go for this look, you're probably going for it for the realistic looking hairline, right? Lace is going to give a realistic look. I still probably don't recommend wearing it right off the hairline because many of us are concerned about lace and knots being visible. But on the whole, this is going to be the most realistic look, right? You have a density that's just natural. The part line hasn't been moved up, but if I were to separate it, it would look super, super natural. It's just beautiful, right? This is a great collection. It was super popular when it was first released. They sold out almost instantly, and I can understand why, right? This is a great, great piece. But cutting bangs into it, I mean, can I do it? This was the piece in question. Yes, for sure. You could get in a nice wispy bang, but the more that I take from over here to create a bang, then the less density I'm going to have in the back. So I recommend when it comes to lace top pieces, over time that lace is going to fray. I mean, it's going to take probably a couple of years for it to work all the way back to a point where you're cutting into the hairline. For me, at that point, I'd probably cut bangs into it. If you want the overall light density and then to add bangs, you can definitely do it with Breeze, but if you know that you're a bang girl, I would be going for sure with the silk top. Let me show you why. So this is Savannah by Uniwigs. If you've been with me for a while, you know this is probably my favorite topper ever from Uniwigs. I love the silk top. I think in a sea of people looking for a lace and closed lace and mono tops, Silk tops have kind of been forgotten, but this was the OG for me. This was what I wore for 4 years. And so when I see a silk top, I don't know, it just feels like home and comfortable for me. And Savannah is that. She's a 9, this isn't Savannah. This isn't Savannah, this is Aura. There's a reason that that one didn't feel like home to me. This is Savannah. She has a 9x9 cap. We have this, I think it's a 4x4 silk area that's going to lead to a very realistic looking scalp. The reason that I recommend the silk top for bangs is because the way that they're constructed, it means that they're going to be a little bit heavier in the front in terms of the amount of hair. This is just because of the way that the cap is constructed. We have like a thicker edge here. So this is not going to, it will lay flat to the head, but there's going to be like a little bit of a transition area if you decide to sit it further back on your hairline. Now, if you have good front hairline, no big deal. You can just pull your hair through, cover that transition, and it's no big deal. For someone like me who has very little hair at that front hairline, I sit Savannah right to the front and I just let her cover my front hairline. Now, some people might think that this looks a little wiggy. For me, I don't know, I just love it. But you can see how all of this added hair, now she does need a bit of a restyling, but I'm saving that to make a video. But you can see how very easily I could cut bangs into her, and I could even cut a thick bang into her without losing any of my overall density. So without a doubt, for me, this would be the piece that I'd be purchasing if I knew I wanted bangs. Bangs are such a great option if you are going to wear a hair topper because you don't have to worry about blending. And if you have a silk top or a skin top, which I'll show you in a second, it's going to create a really realistic look from the top down. But then you won't even see that transition because you'll have bangs. I would love to cut bangs into Savannah. The other reason that a silk top is great is because you don't have any return hair. So if you have a monofilament or you have a lace, those hairs, they're going to go into the cap and then they're going to come back out. Let me show you what I'm talking about just in case you haven't seen it before. Okay, so we're taking a look at Breeze now. So Breeze is the lace top topper. So all of this area is hand tied and the hairs are put into the cap. A little knot is tied and then they come back out. And so what you end up with are a little bit of a return hair. So I don't know if you can see this here, these shorter hairs. It's the other end of the piece. It's like if you're sewing the hair in, and then when it comes back out, you're gonna have a little piece, depending on the company, really short or a little bit longer. Now, Uniwigs leaves theirs a little bit longer, and so they're not gonna be sticking up on you. You're not gonna have any issues like that. But some people don't love it. It can look ultra natural, to be honest, because our own hair tends not to be perfectly long, sleek, and straight. It tends to have some broken hair, some baby hairs, things like that with regrowth. But silk top is going to give you the sleekest look possible because the knots actually, they put the hair in and then it doesn't come back out. It's covered by the silk. So it actually is going to have the most glam, luxurious look overall. I'm also going to show you the skin top, which is very similar to the silk top, but kind of different. Okay, so this is Upgrade Aura, and this is a skin top construction, very similar to the silk top. In fact, in some ways, it looks even more realistic on the scalp, but it is a different material. So you can maybe hear this. It doesn't have the same kind of flexibility as the silk top. Savannah, the cap construction, I believe is 7x8, maybe it's 7.5 by 7.5, I think, for Upgrade Aura. So you have a large parting area though, bigger than you have with the silk top. This is probably about 5 by 5 or so, if I'm looking at it, which means I can part anywhere in this area for a realistic looking scalp. I can move it to the, deep right, deep left, center, whatever you want to do. The reason that this one is also good for a bang, though it has less density at the front than the silk top, okay? It's good overall density, not quite as heavy, and a little bit less at the front than the silk top. The reason I recommend it though is because it also has a ridge here, like the silk top, that you may want to conceal. And you can either conceal it by having your own bio hair over top, or by styling your hair with the curtain bang kind of swooping to the side, or by cutting bangs into it. So for this one, I don't think you'd be able to create a very, very thick bang, but I think you could get away with a pretty reasonable bang right here at the front, hide that front hairline, and you'd still have good overall density. So that's Upgrade Aura there, and she would be a good option as well. Let me know which of the pieces you like best, and let me know, oh my goodness, let me know if you are someone who would consider putting bangs into your topper. Have you already done it, or have you done it into a wig, and what was your experience like? The more I talk about it, the more I want to do it. So we'll see if I can manage to get some bangs cut into Savannah at some point. Thank you for being here. Keep the questions coming. If you have a question that you haven't seen answered anywhere else, you'd like me to address in a future video, please put it in the comments below. I usually screenshot them and I put them into a bank, and then when I get a chance to, I will try to film some content for that. Of course, I'll always answer things that I can answer easily in comments right away with a quick text message, but sometimes it's nice to have a more thorough explained video, and I'm happy to do that if that's something that you would like to have. So drop it below in the comments if you have those questions, and thank you for being here. See you in the next video.